Hello everyone, Rimea here, and welcome to now the 11th part of my playthrough of Cloudy Super Mario Bros. U 2. So if you're not aware what this mod is, this is the 40 plus level mod of New Super Mario Bros. U that I have been working on for about 4 years before finally releasing it a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, we're all the way towards the end of the playthrough now, we're at World 8. And without further ado, let's get started with 8-1, Infernal Fields. This level is really quite something, and I've been surprised to learn just how many people don't realize like what this level is. Because if it's not obvious, this level is like a semi-remake of New Super Mario Bros. Wii 1-1. So if you remember, the airship level we played at the very end of the last episode was like a remake of New Super Mario Bros. Yes 1-1. This is a remake of New Super Mario Bros. Wii 1-1, kind of. And that's of course both because this is supposed to be like very close to Peach's castle, so you're like in the Mushroom Kingdom, and so it kind of makes sense that Mario would be like re-encountering these locations that he has been in before. So like for example, this like start here with this brick block and question mark formation, and like the way you jump up here and stuff. It's all exactly like how it also starts in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Even with the sign, I think, is also there in the original, and yeah, there's also this fun little secret error. If you go to the left, this happens, which isn't just pointless, it allows you to get this 1-up. Yeah, so this level is basically a sort of a mix between a pretty generic like first lava level in the world and also New Super Mario Wii 1-1. So we do just have like, you know, these sections here I think are also still representative of something in the original level as well, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, of course we just have lava pillars because, you know, generic like lava stuff. Here's an interesting mechanic that I haven't only in this level, which is these climbable stalactites. So these of course like have the climbable pole collision from the purple like striped poles that you would see in like ghost house levels, and I started to apply that to these stalactite things that are kind of like merged into the background rocks. And then I've been happy to see that most people have understood what this mechanic is and like aren't like too confused about it. Because it was quite something like it was taking quite a risk, I suppose, having that in my level without it being like entirely indicated with like a sign or something. You know, like there's no sign saying like, oh, you can climb all these poles. It's just a thing where I'm hoping people will understand that that's what you're supposed to do. Which is why earlier that ledge was so high, so you couldn't really get up there without the climbable pole. You also have these floating question marks here in the lava. These floating question marks are actually unused in New Super Mario, believe it or not. Those are kind of something, I guess. But yeah, like this pipe formation here, for example, well, except for the pipe height, but like the way they're like spaced, I think it's pretty similar to how it is in this Wii as well, including the colors. The way this pipe falls down like this, so this pipe will also fall down, but if you manage to go in here before that happens, you can go to this pipe. And then this bonus room kind of, you know, like I tend to do, it kind of continues the mechanic that you used to get into the bonus room in the first place. You have all these pipes that kind of slowly dip down into the lava. If you notice, I'm pretty sure the pipe formation at the top of the screen here with the green and the yellow pipe is also very similar to the first bonus room in New Super Mario Wii 1-1 again. This level and all of the lava levels in this mod also use this lava remix from Super Princess Peach. This was done by Infinite. And I quite like the sound of it. You know, it's definitely a bit untraditional in terms of lava music. It's more, I've heard someone say it sounds kind of Donkey Kong-esque, and I would agree, because it has like this more like jazzy sound to it as opposed to just like an overwhelming like dread sound like you might expect from a lava theme, especially in the New Super Mario Bros. Games. They tend to be very like dour, and this is more like optimistic, you could say, while still I think fitting the lava aesthetic and stuff. Also here we have this familiar section as well, once again from New Super Mario Bros. Wii 1-1, except now with these fire piranha plants in the pipes instead of them just being empty. And the midway is also in the same location. And then here's also the same block again with the propeller room, and usually up here is the first star coin. Now we already got the first star coin, however, you might notice there's a pipe there. And actually if you go up here, like this, and go into this pipe, the first star coin, or at least well the place where the first star coin would have been in the original level, is now where the second star coin bonus room leads you to. So I just got the second star coin. Also there's the 8-bit cloud down here. And then, like, right where I exit out here is where that star coin was originally in the level. So I did kind of try and come up with some funny ways of integrating New Super Mario Wii 1-1 stuff into the level, while still keeping it, you know, unique and kind of, you know, not just making all the secrets obvious. There's just like a random red coin section here. This is kind of where in the original level you have like the section up above, and like it's like kind of like the lower section gets more boring. Of course, we also don't have rolling hills in this level. I did consider putting rolling hills in the level, but I didn't really think it really fits, and I already had rolling hills in another level, so meh. But yeah, like this section here is once again from Wii 1-1, and then here's like there's like supposed to be one more rolling hill here, and then like another rolling hill to the right, and that's the end of the level already. Now, of course, I didn't want to end the level that quickly because I didn't want the level to be super short. Actually, by the way, if you go up here, some coins to spawn here like this, and then some extra coins over to the right, and you get this secret. And this secret is, of course, very much a reference to the similar secrets that you get when you like stay in the rolling hill pipe area. While it's going right here, so it's originally supposed to be a rolling hill here, and yeah, you can get in there. But down here is the main route now. And this is where the level kind of goes off the rails in terms of, you know, Need for Speed Wii U remake stuff, because this is where it just gets all original, with this downwards auto-scroller with lowering lava and fire piranha plants. It's quite unique, I think. And yeah, I just stood on that pipe there, which kind of rotates down, and if I go over to the right here, just before it locks like this, you can go in here and get the third star coin. That section continues down a little bit more if you, you know, if you don't get that bonus room. And which is just this fun little, like, rising and lowering lava section. I guess this is the only lava in the game that acts like this, or at least in this mod it is. So, yeah. Just trying to, like, kind of shove all the different variations of the mechanic in here while I can. And that's the level done. There we go. Now, of course, before we move on to 8-2, we should probably check out the secret exit first of all. If you remember, the second star coin bonus pipe was up here, which is like by climbing up on this stalactite that's kind of sticking out to the top of the screen. And so you can see that there's actually more stalactites here as well, and those go above the screen entirely. And those allow you to jump up here and get the secret exit. Very simple. But I think we'll do 8-2 before moving on to that level. So Ruby River, this is a fun level, I think. So first of all, that is the earliest 8-bit cloud in the whole mod right there to the right. You're kind of meant to look like these ruby decorations, which are exclusive to this level. And yeah, this level, of course, revolves around these moving crystal blocks, which is actually, when you think about it, it's kind of the same mechanic that the original 1-2 from Need for Speed Wii also revolved around. And this level has a couple more minor references to 1-2 as well. But the first level in the world is really the only level that's like a direct remake, or at least kind of, you know. And like the references I make in this level are mostly just like some side thing, not like the main focus of the level. So we also have the swoopers in this level, and you can jump up there and then get into this bonus room where you have to do kind of the same thing again. And yeah, there you go, get the star coin. Also, the background rocks in this level have these swooper formations in them as well, which I think look pretty neat. Yeah, the main focus of this level, I guess, is, well, I would say it's of lava waves. But really, the way I use lava waves in this level is more so like, you know, they're there and they definitely like act like lava waves, but they're not like super like big or anything, which means that they're kind of more of like a side mechanic, really. And yeah, it's also not unintentional that the rubies here really look like rupees from Zelda. Though I did actually make those like from scratch. I definitely made them to look like those. This is one section where we have these moving crystal blocks that kind of move along with the river. This is kind of like, I guess you could say, the main focus of the level, in fact. At least it becomes that towards the end. And yeah, the way these move, or at least except for the swaying motion, but just the general way they kind of move like with liquid, and then you can saddle them and stuff. It's kind of reminiscent of the moving ice blocks, and I think it's like 3-2 or 3-3 from Need for Speed Wii, I think. Like in that underground level. Yeah, it's kind of similar to that. Though of course these are just on like a big conveyor belt path motion. So if you remember at the beginning of this level, we kind of teach the player that you can ground pound the crystals to make them move down. And so for the midway here, or right before the midway actually, you're kind of like expected to like maybe remember that, in which case you can go down into this pipe here. Or at least if I get a good cycle, I guess I can try... There we go. That leads us to one more of these like, you know, bros like ambush bonus rooms, I guess. Yeah, now the Ruby River is moving in the opposite direction, so now we also have the blocks moving in the opposite direction, so you can kind of like go along with them. Which, when you think about it, is actually kind of easier than the section before where you had to go in the opposite direction. However, this just worked out better with teaching the player that this is going to be a thing, because of course then it also becomes like the main thing you do for the second half of the level. So yeah. There's a couple elaborate secrets here which have nothing to do with star coins, which I've seen like trip some people up because they might think that it has something to do with, you know, something. But sometimes you just want to hide the secret because why not? So there's coins over here, for example. But the main secret here is that you can go up here and then this happens and yeah, some coins spawn, and it's all quite elaborate for like something that doesn't have a star coin in it. But you know, sometimes you just feel like doing something fun. Also, by the way, here this pipe actually moves down with the crystal block, which is kind of fun. You actually can't enter the pipe until it's moved down all the way, but it does work like that, so it's nice. Not something that Nintendo ever did, that's for sure. And yeah, of course, I couldn't resist for the last, I guess you could say, last third of the level. We have another auto-scroller. This one gets a little bit dull towards the beginning here, just because I, kind of wanted the player to mostly just be focused on dodging the lava waves at first, because you kind of dip down into them. But then you get more interesting stuff happening as well with the swoopers and the fire bro and stuff. Yeah, sometimes you just need to like fill the terrain up with something, which is why those pipe joints and stuff are up there to the left to kind of like add some more life to the big wall. But I've seen some people being like thinking that like, oh, maybe you have to go up into that pipe to go to the bonus room or whatever, but no. There's a fun little thing where these crystal blocks move out of the way and you can wall jump into here. Those used to move out of the way earlier, which made them a lot harder, but now it's a lot more forgiving. And then for the third bonus room, just something simple where you can get crushed by the crystal block. Crystal blocks actually don't crush the player by default, so I actually had to add an invisible platform here that does crush the player into the ground, just to make sure that you actually do get crushed here. It's just kind of funny. Yeah, like I mentioned, this level doesn't have like many references to 1-2 from Need for Speed Wii, but this last section here definitely is a reference to 1-2, with the just like the way the whole ground is tiled and the moving platform to the right here and everything. It's exactly like 1-2 pretty much. But of course, in 1-2 you have this like tilt control platform, whereas here you have the big ruby blocks or crystal blocks or whatever. I guess we can kind of wait for it to go up a little bit more, and then we can get to the top of the flagpole. It should be good. Oh well, I missed the coins, but there we go. Alright, and now for 8-3, Courtyard Crunch. So, this is another one of those levels where, like, I was working on this one for weeks. I think I actually took a break, kind of like, from modding in the middle of making this level at one point, because I was just so sick and tired of working on it. And, whereas the previous level that I can describe such a process for, which was in World 7, like, I kind of like that level now, whereas I hated it when I made this. I hated this level when I was done with it originally, and I still hate it. Like, I mean, I don't hate it, but it's definitely one of my least favorite levels in the mod. I don't know, it just feels kind of uninspired and stuff. We do have this, like, cool, like, merger of the Future's Castle tile set and the Lava Ground tile set. Which of course kind of makes sense, because if you look on the world map, you're not really on like normal lava ground anymore at this point. You're on like the courtyard, I guess you could say, which is why this level is called Courtyard Crunch. So in this level we have these moving blocks, kind of like the ones from the original 8-1. We also have these raining meteorites, so yeah, it's kind of similar to that, I guess. But in terms of like what I do with these mechanics, I would say I do them very differently from how Nintendo used them. If you go up here, you actually get some coins, though it's hard for me to get up there now, I guess, because all the blocks have been destroyed. So I guess I can't demonstrate that, but whatever. If we wait long enough here, we should have these break blocks being destroyed, like that, for example. We have this fun little, like, pipe here floating in the lava, just done with some movement control stuff. And speaking of movement control pipes in lava, this is just a fun little idea for a bonus room I had, and I didn't think it would work out as well as it did. But yeah, this pipe here actually kind of looks like it's getting pushed up by this lava pillar, and then, falls down again once the lava pillar goes down. But that's actually completely done with movement controllers, so it's just like synchronized, and it just works out perfectly, I suppose. You can stand here for a long time and it won't really get desynced all that much. So yeah, it's really neat how that worked out. But that's definitely not something you could do for like a whole level, I think, because it could get desynchronized then. But here, just for one bonus room, it works out pretty decently. So here, you can ground pound through these break blocks, or if you're small, you can just wait for the break blocks to get destroyed by something. Yeah, there's a sign pointing up, and if you go up here, you can get into a bonus pipe, though those break blocks and question blocks can get destroyed by meteorites pretty quickly. With this bonus room as well. Originally, I killed the player if they fell down here, but I realized that would be a bit too cruel, even though that is kind of like the challenge of the bonus room, is not falling down, but whatever. You could just fall down like that. Originally, this level actually didn't feature any of these, like, moving lava ground blocks. I only used, like, the moving castle blocks. But in the end, I needed that for something, like, another setup we have towards the end of the level. So I had to integrate them back into the level a little bit earlier as well. Which is why that one's there, for example. I like how here you can get crushed by this moving block if you're not quick enough like that. And this is a really interesting section here. So originally, actually, this section here connected to the next section, which we'll be in later. Because basically we would have the lava rising up, like, once you go up here a little bit, and then, like, this pipe connects to the right here, and then you kind of would just end up here. And so the pipe wouldn't be here, you would have just had the lava rising up to this level. But I decided that was a little bit too jank and random, and yeah, just, like, not every zone has to be connected like that, just for something random like that. So I just kept it simple like this. Also, it's kind of interesting how there you can kind of miss the midway if you're not paying attention. It's kind of a little bit of an optional midway in that sense. Yeah, like this is kind of where the level I think just kind of starts losing me. Like we had some fine like stuff that was just very generic setups towards the beginning, but now I'm just like I'm not really doing anything else with the mechanics anymore. It's just more of the same really. So like random poo-de-boos, random sections like to the left there. It's just I don't know. There's kind of an idea here, but like even this isn't like that much. Just like another enemy generator and then with a moving block kind of swiping away all the Goombas. Meh, whatever. The 8-bit cloud down below here. It's a bit of a random one as well, actually. But yeah, here's that setup I talked about earlier, where you can actually enter this movement control pipe, which is not something you can do whatsoever, like in the vanilla game. You can't enter movement control pipes, but with the way this setup works here, where the brick blocks only raise up at the very moment that the pipe goes all the way down, I made it so you can actually get in there with the collision just always being there. It's hard to really describe how that works, but you can look in the editor if you want, if you're very curious. Yeah, and this bonus room I guess is kind of decent. It's kind of tricky not to die. Let's see if we can manage. There you go. Yeah, it can get quite tough to squeeze out of there while also getting the star coin, but I managed. And then we just have the world's simplest gold ball setup. There we go. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of that level, but well, you can't win them all, you know. And I suppose before we end off today's episode, we might as well play through the secret level for this world, which is 8-4 Brahma's Brimstone. So this level was very much inspired by the level design of Molcar, who's a friend of mine who made Super Luigi Land Wii, which is another mod I played on my channel a couple of years ago now. So we have the starting area here, which is, you know, in the lava setting still, and if you go over to collect this coin, a block spawns, which allows you to get a 1-up. And this is already inspired by Molcar's level design because he tends to have this like starting area where not much is going on, and he also really likes having these secrets where you like collect a coin and then something happens. So yeah, it's just kind of funny how I decided to be inspired by, you know, such specific level design like that, and I really went for it, I suppose you could say. And another thing that was also inspired by him was the fact that he tends to be a big fan of these like weird like mountain levels, like the grey mountain levels with these death clouds. I'm not personally a huge fan of death clouds, honestly. I think they're a little bit of a strange mechanic. I'm happy Nintendo didn't really use them in the original games. But I decided, you know, it'd be funny because like, you know, you also don't want to have 5 like lava levels in your world, or 4 at least. So this is more of a like mountain death cloud level. So, you know, I had to do some kind of different vibe. And I suppose the death clouds did make for a pretty good addition therefore. If you go down here, there's this little hidden area where some coins spawn up to the left. And that's just to indicate that you can actually jump into the wall here. And you can kind of see it sticking out intentionally, which is this moving platform like this. Yeah, because this isn't supposed to be like a proper lava level either, this level also uses the Thundercloud level music, actually, which is composed by Breakblock once again. And I think it's definitely quite fitting for the atmosphere of this level. This bonus room was actually done like I don't know, probably days before the mod release. Like I changed this very last minute because I wasn't a big fan of the bonus room I had before. Yeah, I feel like these moving platforms like this and death clouds do make for a pretty good combination because you can have the moving platforms kind of pushing the player into the death clouds kind of subtly. It just makes for some fun setups like right here. Spike Dops, on the other hand, which are these enemies right here, are a pretty wacky, kind of strange enemy. They're kind of difficult to use in like many interesting ways, I think. So, well, I tried in this level at least. Let me see, can I snipe that guy? I can. I always try that, it's funny. Oh, I didn't actually want to get a fight. Well, whatever. So this is the slowest moving platform in the world, which is actually to make sure that the Hammer Bro doesn't just immediately die once it spawns in. Yeah, the Hammer Bro I killed earlier. But this also hides a secret because if I spin jump, you can see down there is the 8-bit cloud for this level, which is of course like the you know, like the skull signs that are throughout this level. This is a very strange section here where you're supposed to kind of like do something like this to avoid getting hit. It's very just jank, but like I said, there's only so many ways you can use spike tops and stuff like that. So I had to come up with some weird things like that. Another staple of Molcar's level design is having these midway rooms where there isn't much going on, and he also tends to like hiding secrets in those, which is also what I did here. So it's actually a platform here, which allows you to go into the pipe like this. And this bonus room actually takes place down in the lava section again. I just like it, you know, having like bonus rooms or stuff being set in a different location. Often that will be like underground or in sky sections, but because this level already is like a sky section, the bonus room is more of like an overworld kind of aesthetic, or in the case of this world theme, it would be fire or lava. So I think that works out quite well. This is just a funny idea for a section here with these switches that allow you to break blocks and the platform can continue on. And if you kill that hammer bro, you can get the star coin. And for the second half of this level, we start off with this random little vertical section. I don't know why it's really here. I guess just because I felt like doing something different, you know. You don't just want to have every level be entirely horizontal. A little hidden one-up of here as well. This is kind of a fun little idea for using these platforms. I think I quite like this actually. You can't jump in here with the crouch jumping or when you're small or whatever because there's invisible tiles. However, of course, you can go into here and there's another one of these random coins, and if you get the coin, you can get the third star coin. A little bit of a simple star coin, therefore. You know, I usually have my third star coins in bonus rooms or some kind of very hard to get thing. That one's quite easy, but I've still also seen some people miss it, so you know. And then for the last section here, we have this, well, an autoscroller first of all, which is another staple of Molcast level design, though it's also one of mine, so it works regardless. But of course, we're also using these approaching death clouds, which is the only way that death clouds were originally used in these parts Wii and also these parts U. And, well, that makes quite a lot of sense, I think, for this level, because I tend to like having my main mechanic being used in an autoscroller setting towards the end, and this is the, kind of like a main mechanic for this level, so it works. Originally, this section wasn't actually like a proper autoscroller like this, it was just you just had the approaching death clouds, which kind of forced the player to run. However, there was some glitchiness that could happen if the death clouds were to be on screen for too much, like if it filled like half the screen, they would start glitching out and stuff. I didn't want that to happen, so therefore I made this section an actual autoscroller like this, with the death clouds just being synced to the autoscroller. And yeah, pretty precarious section here where you kind of have to go back and forth, but you can go to the pipe like this, and that's the level pretty much done. Except for one more staple of Molcast level design, which is a very elaborate goal pole setup, so you can jump on this platform like this, go to layer 0, and have a platform to ride up, make sure you don't get hit by the death clouds, and then there you go. But yeah guys, with that, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Next time we're going to be doing the final 2 levels of this world and the main part of the mod therefore. So I hope you check that out. But yeah, see you later guys, bye bye.